Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Ellen and today I'm going to talk about why I became a teacher. The first question asks me if I always knew I was going to become a teacher, and if not, when I decided to become one. No, I did not always know I wanted to be a teacher. When I was little, my goal was to become Daniel Boone. Every single week I watched Vess Parker play Daniel Boone on TV, and he was my greatest hero. Growing up, my family and I were part-time home missionaries, so we traveled the United States working with adults and children. As I got older, into my teens, I did get some teaching positions at private schools. Then, in my early 20s, I worked in the medical field. I combined the two degrees. I realized I loved the administration and leadership position in the medical field, but I was highly passionate about modifying the curriculum to the students' academic and learning style needs. So I went into a teaching degree and then an administration degree. So question 2 asks me, what was my degree in college? Well, I actually have several degrees. I started with a bachelor's in early childhood education. Then I went back and I took my courses for elementary education and had that added to my certificate. I moved up and I got my master's in school administration. At the beginning of this coming year, I will have another area added to my certificate. Then, after 4 more classes, I will have my reading specialist degree. So, quite a few. It is important to note that all of the degrees I currently have were obtained in the state of Oklahoma. So any questions that I answer based on what was required, what test did you have to take, did you have to do observations, all of this was from Oklahoma, and I did attend a class or a school that was very well known for their teaching degree. So question 3 basically asks me what the requirements were in the state if I had to do observation hours and if I had to do an internship. Well, first of all, you have to do your basics, and you can go in and you can CLEP some of these courses, and if you're not familiar with that term, it basically just means go in, take a test, and prove you know all the information. You do have to pay for these tests. Then you have to take an OGET, which is basically like taking your ACT test again. Each and every degree had 3 or 4 tests that went with it. Some of these tests had Part A and Part B, and all of the tests had 4 hours for you to complete them, and they basically take 4 hours to get them done. And all of the tests have an essay attached to it, regardless of what you are studying in education. So if you are focusing on math, you will have an essay question. You will get to the end of your test and you will have either a prompt or a question, and you will be required to write over it. And I did not realize that each state did not require this until I took my reading specialist test in both Oklahoma and Illinois, and it was not on the Illinois test. Then as for internships, yes, you have 3 official internships. You have internship 1, 2, and 3, and each and every internship has to be done in a different grade level and at a different school. Your last internship is a whole semester long, and you have to record yourself and do an observation on yourself. Then you have someone from the college come in and observe you. Your mentor teacher does observations on you. You are attending conferences. So you are very, very busy during this time. For my full internship, I did half of the time in first grade, and then I did the last half in kindergarten. Then I went back to my elementary and I had to do another internship, and then of course I went to my master's degree, but this internship was a little bit different and had different duties in it, of course. Now I do want to point out that the school that I attended was very educational minded, so it did not wait for our internships in order to get us into the classroom. We were immediately tutoring students and just involved within the community. So question 4 asks me how I decided what area I wanted to teach. As I mentioned previously, I combined 2 things that I really loved, and that was a leadership role as well as my desire to work with students to modify the curriculum in order to help them succeed in school. And there are so many ways that we can do this. We can look at the students' learning style, their environmental needs, what strategies will really work for them to help them find that success or those aha moments. This is something that I truly have a passion for. But in order to do this, I wanted to teach for a few years. I wanted to go into the classroom and see what the everyday life of a teacher was like. And I wanted to have a wide range of experience. That is why I received my degrees in early childhood and in elementary. Then I wanted to become an administrator so that I could support the parents, the students, and the teachers in that leadership role. Question 5 is, have I ever substitute taught before? No, I never have. As I mentioned earlier, I have had jobs in private schools before, and you are not required to have a teaching degree when you work in a private school. Okay, so what was the process like for the first job that I had? Well, I'm going to just kind of talk about the first public school job that I had, and it was a larger district. So you logged on to their website and you could choose what grade level that you preferred and then apply just for the whole district. And then you would get different principals calling you in for interviews, and you could decide what school you preferred and what principal you preferred, and you wanted to make sure it was a good fit for you, but you could not apply directly to one school. One of the questions asks if there are any common interview questions. Yes. They actually have a form that they pull off and print with all of the questions. So you should Google that, and it will give you a pretty good idea of what they're going to ask you within that interview. One of the big one that stands out is, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So make sure you have one of your educational strengths ready to provide. And it could be something that the person from the college who came and evaluated you during your internship provided you with. Make sure you point that out, and you can say the person who evaluated me during my internship pointed out to me that I really have this strength when I am within the classroom. Then when they ask you for your weakness, if you're like, man, I'm not sure what my weakness is and this is going on in your head, you can say, well, I'm not very strong in the data that you collect within the school, but I am very willing to get with my mentor teacher, because most schools provide you with a mentor, to research and accumulate the information on how you do that as a district or as a school. So make sure you give them your weakness, but you tell them how you are going to strengthen yourself in it. And then they realize, okay, she knows something our district does, which gives you brownie points already, and she also has a way that she's going to improve upon it. So you chose a weakness that has to do with something you are not familiar with within your district, and you also have a way that you're going to improve it. So there's always something really easy that you can pick out. The next question asks me what was my first job position and what grade level did I teach. Again, I'm going to focus on the public school for this question. It was 3rd grade math and science. Question 9 asks me what I felt prepared for or unprepared for when I entered my teaching experience. Now, you need to remember that I did have previous experience in the private school setting. Therefore, I really did know what to expect when I entered public school. The thing that I did not know, I actually mentioned earlier, and it was how to read their data printouts. So I just ran up to a teacher and said, hey, how do I read this? So that's what I really didn't know when I started my first day of my new job. The last question asks if I have any advice for individuals who want to become a teacher. Well, I do. First of all, go out there and become a substitute. We need them. We're always looking for them. Go and tutor individuals. Schools have their doors open for tutoring sessions. Sometimes there are after-school tutoring programs. Also, go volunteer in your community. Maybe 4-H's need some help. There are a lot of 4-H programs out there. Finally, I would suggest that you go to a church, volunteer in a Sunday school, become a Sunday school teacher, work in different grade levels there. Maybe you're thinking about teaching an early childhood position. Go and teach an early childhood Sunday school class. There are so many opportunities out there for you to go and get involved and find out, do you have that classroom management skill? If not, start building it. Do you actually like to be around that age of children? If not, try a different age. If you don't like that age, try a different age. If you don't like that age, think about a different career. So just go out there and see if you really enjoy it and if it's that field for you. And if you love it, then maybe you've really got the right field. My suggestion for you would be get out there, get involved within your community until you find the area that you really enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to be proud of your work, productive in your day, and positively joyful.